Memories, we all have them. They're important parts of our lives. We have our first memory of something. We have our favorite memory. We have our worst memory. Memories they fill our minds. And memories haunt us. They motivate us. They bring us a special sense of joy and peace. They can bring us an incredible amount of sorrow. But the reality is that memories are powerful, powerful things in our lives. Our ability to remember is absolutely critical for our functioning. Can you imagine waking up one morning and not knowing who you are or where you are? Or maybe you've gotten to, and it's laughable, but you'll be at one side of the house and you'll leave to walk to the other side of the house, and you'll get over there and you're like, what was I doing? And you look around, you're like, I'm trying to remember. What was I supposed to be doing here? And it can be so frustrating. It's just a reminder how important being able to remember is. And it's not just in the practical, everyday things of life. It's not just about our memories, to remember who we are, where we've come from, and the different elements that make up our lives. But the ability to remember is an important part of Scripture as well. It's significant in the Bible and in what God does in the Bible. If you remember back in the book of Exodus, the children of Israel cried out to God, and it says that He remembered His covenant. He remembered the covenant He made with Abraham. And in God's people, as in the Exodus, God told His people, you've got to remember what happened, what I did for you. That's what the Passover is. When they celebrate Passover, the Jews would celebrate Passover. It was to remember that God had redeemed them out of slavery. Further along in the story of heading to the Promised Land, the children of Israel had to cross the Jordan River. And do you remember what God told them to do? They crossed the river, and He said, set up memorial stones so in the future, when your kids say, why are these stones here? You can tell them of what God had done. And so the ability to remember was important, just even for their faith, for their walk. The whole celebration of communion, it's all about remembering what Jesus has done for us, remembering our salvation. We're going to start a new study this weekend. This Sunday, we're going to start a look at the book of 2 Peter. And the theme of 2 Peter is stirring reminders. Peter writes to remind his readers. He reminds them to remember. And he's not going to introduce anything new, really. I mean, we may go through the book, and we're probably going to learn some things. But as he was writing to his readers, he was reminding them of things that they already knew, and he wanted to stir them up. And he wanted them to remember what God had done, what they were called to be and what they were called to do. And he wanted them to remember what God had promised that He was going to do. Because to forget those things really would lead to us forgetting God. It would lead to us no longer being faithful. We've got to constantly remember, and we've got to have in our memory the promises of God, the instruction of God, the future of what God is going to do. So I want to invite you to join us this Sunday. You can join us online through our church's Facebook page, or you can join us in person. It's 11 o'clock. If you want to know more about what's going on here at Lighthouse Community Church, you can scan the QR code that's going to show up right now. You can go ahead and scan that with your phone. It'll take you to our church webpage and to our bulletin. It gives you a list of everything that's going on. You'll find out more about who we are as a church. If you can't scan that code, you can go ahead and click the link that's at the bottom here in the description. Click that, and it'll take you to the same place. So I hope that you will join us, and I hope that you will enjoy our study of 2 Peter.